If you want to understand how a stage magician tricks you, you have to watch their hands. There is a golden rule in magic. With one hand, the magician snaps your attention towards something bright and flashy, specifically so you cannot see what the other hand is doing in the shadows. Think of the massive corporations and political institutions that shape our world as the magician. In this scenario, pop culture and celebrities serve a very specific function. They are the flashy, distracting hand. Consider how often this happens. Housing prices skyrocket, a massive banking scandal breaks, or a devastating conflict leaves a city in ruins. Right at that exact moment, your social media feed is suddenly flooded with high-definition coverage of a famous actor's messy divorce, or a pop singer's strange red carpet outfit. We end up sitting in traffic or at dinner parties, pouring our mental energy into debating a pop star's wardrobe. That is energy we are no longer using to demand accountability from the people making decisions that actually affect our lives. This endless distraction drains our collective focus. The celebrity industry is a highly controlled mechanism designed specifically to neutralize public awareness and keep our minds full of trivial details. Decades ago, a sociologist named Theodore Adorno looked closely at this mechanism. He developed an idea called the culture industry. Adorno saw that modern culture and entertainment were starting to function exactly like a factory assembly line. According to Adorno, the people we call celebrities in this system are rarely independent artists. They are standardized commodities. The factory manufactures them to be easily consumed by the masses, with the specific goal of keeping people docile, entertained, and unlikely to question their actual living conditions. The linguist Noam Chomsky observed a similar pattern. He pointed out that bombarding a population with sports, celebrity gossip, and yellow journalism is a highly effective strategy. If your brain is occupied with a celebrity feud, you simply don't have the bandwidth left to scrutinize macroeconomic policies. Another thinker, Herbert Marcuse, explained that a consumer system survives by constantly creating what he called false needs. It has to dictate what you think you need to be happy, successful, or attractive. Celebrities are the ultimate salespeople for these false needs. They model a specific lifestyle, heavily implying that to achieve it, you must buy a certain phone, wear a certain brand, or drive a certain car. People end up working exhausting hours their entire lives just to buy things they don't actually require. Ultimately, the main product rolling off the assembly line of the culture industry is not the celebrity. The product is a pacified, exhausted working class, a public that lacks the energy to challenge systemic inequality. To see how this factory builds a commodity, look at Kim Kardashian. Historically, fame required a specific demonstrable skill: writing, acting, athletics. The Kardashian brand proved that immense global influence could be achieved without any traditional talent at all. Her brand works by completely commodifying the human experience. Her daily routine, her relationships, and her physical body are all reduced to a highly polished storefront. This strategy relies on a specific psychological lever. By setting a visual standard built on millions of dollars of surgeries and styling teams, the system intentionally creates a feeling of deficiency in ordinary women. A consumer who feels inadequate will remain a lifelong, reliable customer for beauty products and procedures, endlessly trying to buy their way to the standard. And the institutions of power are happy to legitimize these figures. When a reality TV star is invited to tour a naval destroyer or attend formal political galas, a trade occurs. The military or political office gets access to massive youthful attention, and the celebrity is suddenly granted serious institutional authority. The media machinery acts as a gatekeeper, strictly filtering who is allowed to keep their platform based on what they say. We can see this filter clearly by looking at the trajectory of Greta Thunberg. When she first began her school strikes, the global establishment embraced her. Amplifying a teenager asking people to plant trees and reduce their carbon footprint was great optics. It provided a photo op for politicians without actually threatening the profits of massive fossil fuel corporations. Then she crossed a boundary. When her messaging shifted to explicitly criticizing capitalism, and when she began appearing at protests advocating for Palestinian rights, the reaction was immediate. The same media networks that celebrated her as a hero abruptly stopped covering her, effectively boycotting her voice from the mainstream. The capitalist machine operates like an evolutionary funnel. It aggressively promotes those who encourage consumption and superficial engagement, while swiftly cutting the microphone on anyone who threatens the current balance of power between nations. The system is constantly scanning for authentic local movements that it can capture, rebrand, and align with its own foreign policy goals. Take the case of Shervan Hajipour in Iran. He recorded a simple, emotional protest song in his bedroom. It was a local expression of frustration. Almost immediately, foreign media networks seized the song, editing it over highly produced montages to transform a local grievance into a weaponized global anthem. Western establishments then step in to complete the capture. They create brand new award categories at events like the Grammys and bring in top political figures to present them. The organic, local voice is officially crowned and validated by the Western establishment. We see this institutional alignment repeatedly. Highly prestigious international honors, like the Nobel Peace Prize, are selectively awarded to figures whose local influence neatly matches the narratives preferred by Western powers. In some cases, entirely new foundations and organizations are built in foreign countries around incarcerated local figures. This allows groups thousands of miles away to completely steer the narrative of that person's dissent. By positioning themselves as the ultimate judges of which protests are legitimate, global powers utilize these local figures to launder their own image. They present themselves as the arbiters of freedom while conveniently advancing their own geopolitical interests. It's important to understand that the celebrities themselves are not evil masterminds running a grand conspiracy. They're simply highly compensated cogs turning inside a massive economic engine that demands compliance for survival. This system thrives on a very specific type of citizen, one who is fearful, easily distracted, and predictable. Its ultimate nightmare is a society of deeply informed, curious individuals who look past the surface and demand real answers. The absolute hardest part is recognizing that the media choices we make every day are often heavily curated for us. We feel like we are freely choosing what to consume, but the menu was written long before we sat down at the table. The next time a massive, trivial celebrity scandal dominates the internet, take a step back, look past the bright flashing lights, and ask yourself, what is the magician's other hand doing right now?